As you all know, if you've followed anything on my pages, I often talk about life with God and how that relates to us, and it relates a lot to romance, and how I believe that's actually why we're given romance, to show us the heart of God for us and the way that He feels towards us. And there's just been a few things lately that have happened and confronted things in my life that have got me thinking about life as a man and life with romance in a whole new way. And so I'm Scott Russell, and I wanted to talk a little bit of just opening my heart today in middle-age romance. I think as becoming with God, I think as becoming a middle-aged man, when you take the miles that you need to take and you do the things you need to do, you become whole. Especially when you're walking with God, you're not empowering off the pain, and it's often the trauma that limits us from opening up again. It's the trauma of life that tries to scare us from loving and have us control an outcome instead of just allowing. It's just allowing life to breathe, allowing love to breathe. And I was thinking about God. Excuse me, and if he's the male there, and the Bible talks about the bride of Christ, and that how Jesus is returning for a bride without spot or blemish, a bride of Christ that's put itself aside for him, that's kept herself for him, and that's all of us. So it's almost like God expects us to take the feminine in that, in a sense, spiritually, and he is the masculine in that, even though that's a whole nother discussion. I was thinking about God in that, and his masculinity, as he romances us with life, he's not apologetic for that. He doesn't try to dumb down what he is to please us in our trauma. He sees the value in us. He sees the beauty in us. He sees the completeness in us. And as he romances us, we're faced with responding or running. We're faced with responding or controlling. We all want that. But the past traumas, the past pains, our inferiorities, our insecurities, our anxieties, our fears, our agendas, romance never comes on our schedule. It's something that confronts every part of our life, interrupts every part of our life, and invites us to a completeness that we've never experienced before. So I was thinking about God in that. He comes that he gives us out of his identity as a man that is not scared to love and not manipulating us. Romance is that invitation. He gives us trees and grass and sunsets and just the beauty of life. And often we just go through life. We notice some of those things. We all like those things. Oh, gee, that's nice. Look at that sunset. Oh, that's cool. But we got our schedule going on. We got our life going on. We got things going on. Then there's other times where we just stop, and romance confronts everything that we are. It says, hey, it's an invitation to say, hey, would you come aside? And we wrestle with that, with no, I just don't have the time. Why now? I just have to get things organized in my life to this, but before God I can respond. And God just sits there. Don't say anything. Another sunset happens. And you could say, well, God's loving me because he wants something from me. Well, no, God's not loving us because he wants something from us. God's loving us because the completeness of who he is says, see my sunsets, see my life. And he's saying, I'm inviting you to come and be with me. I'm inviting you to come and sit with me. I'm inviting you to take the time because this will complete you. The things, it's an orphan heart. We run around trying to get love, and God's just saying, if you just let go and trust, I'm not going anywhere. If you just trust, love is there. But that love really does confront our so much in our lives that we don't want to acknowledge is even there. And so I think what happens is when I stop and look at a sunset, say, with God, I just sit on the bench, and I say it's a bench. There's a mountain here with a bench on it that I've sat on many a time, and just looked out as the sunset's gone down by myself. And just gone, God, you're amazing. I look at these mountains. I look at a bug. I look at, and what I've found is the more that's happening in me, the more it happens. The more all He requires of me is to respond. And as I take the time, I don't know how to respond. I can't respond on a level that seems even significant to Him. But as I just allow my life to respond in my silly little ways, it's still a response. And I get better at responding. And when I respond, it sets me free. And when I respond, life happens. It shines. Its quality is there in ways that the grass is greener, the smells are richer, the sky is bluer, the life just is, the passion of life is there because it's coming from inside of me and an eternal God. And as we merge in that, I'm the one, like the Bible talks about, preparing for the marriage supper of the Lamb. I had no agenda to have a marriage to God, to be in this heaven, in this perfect unity with this God, this triune God. And I found that in me, it's confronted everything that I am, everything that I thought I was, every agenda, everything in my life. But He doesn't condemn me for anything. He just loves. And then He just sits and waits for me to respond. Well, God, I'll respond to your sunsets and things, but I don't want to get married. I'm not looking for marriage. And God just smiles and says, would you just love me? He's like, I'm not doing this with an agenda. He said, I'm doing this because it's who I am. And I've realized of late that when romantic passion and love comes out of us as a true male that's clean and pure, there might be a woman that's going towards and she's being invited to respond. You're not doing it to manipulate. You're not doing it to control. You're not doing it to take control of her life or to have an agenda for her life. You're doing it because it's who you are. You delight in her. You delight in everything that she is. Her failures, her successes, her insecurities, the times she runs and hides, the times where she's just, no, not today. And you just sit back and as a man, and it doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change anything. You're saying the identity of who I am means I will express my love. And that in that expression, it's clean and pure without an agenda. Whereas the world's agenda today is to, get into her pants or to control her, or she's going to be my one. No. In true love, it's just saying, I'm here. I'm expressing who I am as a masculine male, respond as in a feminine. As I've done that with God, it's changed my life, and it's changing my life, and He's showing me as a man how to love, not as an action, as a state of being. That as a man, I can be secure in who I am. See, if I try to pretend there's not an agenda to love somebody, if this is a woman, and she might be insecure in saying, well, but if I alter who I am for that, I'm being dishonest in that. It has to be a case of saying, yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether we be together. I don't know that we won't be together. But I'm going to express who I am. I'm going to give my sunsets. I'm going to give my trees. I'm going to give my flowers. And where that goes is where it goes. It takes a lot of security in who we are. Confronts everything. And I just wanted to share that today and to let you know that God is romancing you. And when you respond to that, it will flow into the relationships and the completeness that you seek. God bless you.